Welcome back to my workshop. Now hopefully today this is going to be fairly quick. What I want to do is make a gift for a very young girl. I was going to make her a toy. She's only 1 year old, but I've decided I'm going to make her a big letter with her name engraved in it. So let's go over to the design studio and I'll show you exactly what I want to build. Okay, so as usual, no fancy designs, just going to draw something on the board and we'll go from there. Right, so that's that cleaned off. Right, all I want to do is literally make a three-dimensional letter. It's an F for Florence. Like that. Probably going to use Times New Roman for this. I probably want it about that big. About 27 centimeters. It's a bit big. But that's the design. And what I want to do is to engrave using the CNC machine along here her name, like that. Okay, what I'm going to do is, because I've got my laser and I've got my CNC machine, I'm going to try and use both of them to save me some time. Let me show you how I'm going to do that. Right, so obviously I have my laser here with my laptop and another screen, and also over there I've got my CNC machine. Now what I'll probably do is just use the laser for figuring out how big I actually want it, whether or not it's going to work. So the first thing to do would be to get on the computer and make a little design and then burn it onto a bit of paper rather than printing it out and trying to scale it. Okay, I still haven't got any capture software, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to video this screen whilst I work on this screen. Right, it's a bit budget, but it will do. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is start up Lightburn software. That's actually starting on the other machine, and let me just get this going. Right, so we've got our Lightburn software here. Obviously I've got my laser set up, it's all powered up, and this has been zeroed. Okay, so as I say, all I'm going to do is use this for the design and a quick trial. Okay, so what I want to do is, first of all, I'll go over to here to select a letter, stick it on here. It's going to be a capital F. As I said, I wanted to use Times New Roman. Times New Roman. How big do I want that? I wanted it about 27 centimeters. Height 270. Enter. Okay, that's about the size of it. Okay, so that's my basic design. What I've got to do now is just quickly make sure that it's going to be over here. Make sure it's going to be running at the right speed and the right power. I've got it set to 1030%. I've literally got my piece of paper in here. What I've got to do is quickly focus my laser. Okay, with my little thing on here. Undo these. Focus. Okay, laser's focused. Right, let's push the go button. Right, that looks about right. Okay, maybe a little bit bigger. Right, so happy with the size that that's burnt. Let's put in some quick letters here. So same thing again. Let's get 6. That's way too big. Probably about 30. Okay, so like that. Rotate it. Move the place. A little bit big, now I can narrow this down a bit. That's not quite straight, is it? Let's straighten that up. Okay, so that's what I want it to look like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reburn that. I'm going to push the go button here. Right, so that's my rough design, blowing out on the laser. I think I might do it a little bit bigger. That's not quite big enough. I might do that a little bit bigger, but I'll run through that without showing you. That's it for the laser. That's just giving me an idea. So what I've got to do now is go over and replicate it on the CNC machine. Right, don't do what I've just done. I've just cut some bits of MDF on my chop saw without a mask. Right, don't do that. I was in a bit of a rush and I forgot what I was doing. So that's my fault. Don't copy me. But now I've got my little air filter here. Got that going. That's going to clean some of the air. I've cleaned up some of the dust. Right, over to the CNC machine. Right, so I've got my design here. I've just basically replicated what I did on the laser. It's going to be made out of 3 layers of 18mm MDF. The design itself has been split into 2 parts. First thing is the word Florence, and the second part is the big F. The Florence is going to be carved, as in V carved, and the big F is going to be cut as a profile cut. So let me quickly show you the settings. Okay, so just to demonstrate, the words are going to be, close that, they're going to be V carved, going to be 3mm deep, they're going to be using a 60-degree bit, and when I carve it, it's going to look something like that. Okay, so let's just reset that preview, run the carving, so that's what the Florence is going to look like. Okay, back to the design. Now the big F is going to be a profile cut. So it's going to cut around the outside. It's 18mm deep. M is 6.3mm. Let's calculate that. That blue line is what it's going to follow. Let's run that. Okay, it's going to be 9 passes and it should give me this. Okay, that's my design. I've just got to convert this into G-code and then start the machine. Okay, so this is going to be my top one. So this is going to be the one with the words engraved in it. So I'm going to do the words first and then cut out the big F. Okay, so let's get it starting. I'll start my spindle up and then push the go button. Right, so that's the words done. Before I cut this out, I've just had to modify this G-code because I need some tabs. Now tabs are little pieces that remain in the cut to stop it falling free once you cut through the material. Okay, so let me save this to G-code, then we can start cutting it as soon as I change the bit. Right, so this is all ready to go, ready to cut the F. Now it's taken me a bit of time to sort this out because I've got to make sure that there's enough of this bit to actually go all the way through, because this is 18mm, but I've also got to make sure there's enough clearance for the bottom of the Z-axis. If you're doing a CNC, you'll know exactly what I mean, but if you don't do CNC, that could be a pain in the arse. Right, let's start this up and then start cutting. Right, so after 28 minutes of cutting round the big F on the first one, disaster has struck. Let me show you what's happened. Look what happened. Right, this clamp got in the way and it hit the bottom of the Z-axis and it knocked this over by about 10 mil and it just ate its way into it. So I've got to do this one all again, including all the engraving. It was the last pass. Look how much it had to go. Right, I've just mounted my next piece. I've got rid of this clamp here. And you can see this is my centre point and it's knocked it over by this much. So I've got to now move that over back there and re-zero it. Right, so finally we have our first one. You can see it's gone all the way through, but I can just break it off. Here we go, just a little bit of tidying up. That's the first one. Right, another two more to do. Right, so that's the CNCing done. It's taken forever, it's taken hours. But I've now got my 3 Fs ready. What I want to do is get some glue on these tonight to leave them overnight. All right, so let me just get on with that. Right, so it's now Thursday night. This thing has got to be done for Saturday. It's been sitting here for a couple of days drying. What I want to do now is just have a look at it, clean up all the edges, and then start on the next bit of the design. So let's have a look. Right, well, I've successfully managed to stick it to a load of paper. I put a piece of paper between it and the bench because obviously it's wood glue. If it had stuck to the bench, that would have been a disaster. If I stick it to paper, I can just peel it off and then give it a bit of a sand. But it's looking okay. All the edges between each layer there, you can see there's some sharp edges. So I'm going to knock most of that off with a chisel and then maybe quickly run the sand around it. Right, while I carry on sanding this, I've just quickly drawn a little elephant. See if we can see this here. Okay, here's my little elephant here. Just started up the CNC machine again. I'm going to quickly engrave that and then probably cut it out on the scroll saw, and that's going to go on the front. Right, so I'll start this and then sand that. Right, so I've got my little elephant cut out, which is looking very good. And I've got my Florence F cut out, which is looking very good. Now I've got to stick these together, but what I want to do first is have a bit of a clear up, so I've got a bit of room to work. So stick that on there somehow, and then I'll get a first coat of paint on it, I think. Right, so I've been trying to decide where to stick the little elephant. It's got to be at the front somewhere, but I don't want to cover up all this wording. I did think about over here, but then that sort of makes that look a bit like an E, so that's no good. So I think what I've settled on is over here, so that way I'll be able to stick it at the bottom here and on his ear. And what I'm going to use is some of this stuff, which is Starbond Medium. It comes with some accelerator, so all I do, a couple of dabs of that and then some of this, and hopefully it won't fall off. Right, so I'm going to get some paint on this now. I did try to get some child-friendly paint. I know that Painter's Touch used to do some, but I can't get that anymore. But what I've got is I've got this, which is a water-based paint, so it can't be too bad. But I'm going to paint it white first. Then I've got some pink, and it's really pink. And then after I finish that, then I'll wax the whole lot. So I get it as sealed as possible. It's not going to be put in their mouth or anything. It's going to be just an ornament in their bedroom, so it should be okay. So I'm going to paint it with this first, get a good thick coat on it, and then leave it overnight, and then give it another coat tomorrow. Right, let's get painting. Right, so that's the very first coat of white. It's gone on really well. This stuff is really good by the looks of it. It seems to have sealed the MDF really well. I'm going to leave this overnight now. I'm going to go and wash my brush and go and have a cup of tea. Right, so this has been left overnight. I've given it a little bit of a sand. Now, I don't really like the finish I'm getting with a brush. So what I've decided to do is water some paint down. I'm going to spray it with my spray gun. Haven't used this in quite a while. Let's just give it a go and see what happens. Right, so first off, I had my pressure up too high and it was almost blowing it over. So I've turned the pressure down, I've mixed up a little bit more paint, given it another couple of coats. I'll wait for that to dry, give it a bit of sand, and then we'll put some colour on it. Right, so during the course of the first coat of paint, I've been spraying my bench and everything, all the wall, my clamps, they're all sprayed white now. So what I've done is I've quickly made a spray booth. In other words, I've covered everything up. I've also raised it up a bit because I found it a bit difficult to get down to spray upwards. So I'm going to leave this to dry for a bit, give it a sand, and then another spray, but in pink. Right, here comes the pink. Right, just had a bit of a disaster with the paint. Now normally when I'm filling in any black I use these, which is an acrylic paint pen, but this seems to react with the paint that's on it. It's all gone horribly wrong. I think I've salvaged the situation. What I'm going to do now is screw this to the base, leave it a little bit longer, and then give it a final buff off. So let's get this on the base. Right, so that's it. It's all finished. I've added a couple of little silk flowers here and there and in the hair. Got my little token on the bottom there. Yeah, this is all ready for tomorrow. Got to deliver it tomorrow. Next time, I don't think I'd use the same paint. It's a bit troublesome. It starts to come off again when you're waxing it, which is not very good. But this is all finished now. This is obviously for Florence. So happy birthday, Florence. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Right, thank you very much for watching. Bye. Hello. So this should be dry. Let me take it and run out of words. Come on, you idiot. As I say, this has been sitting there for a couple of days while it's dried and let's try it all again.